This is why the Trump administration, again, in my personal opinion, will most likely prosecute Freddie O'Connell.
There's zero chance it was a mistake, and there will be repercussions.
When Homeland Security goes on national television and calls you out by name and says you are doxing their agents, that is very bad. Let us remember the last time Homeland Security went on national television talking about those members of Congress who assaulted Homeland Security over in Newark, New Jersey for storming that ICE facility.
A sitting Congresswoman, LaMonica McIver, was body slamming, body ramming, striking with her fist, pushing, shoving, whatever you want to call it, assaulting ICE officers. Exactly.
Remember, those members of Congress are under threat of being arrested or charged, and one of them has been charged with assault. Now, the reason why Freddie O'Connell is special is because of today's context. To show you guys the situation right now when it comes to Homeland Security, they just put out a sanctuary jurisdictions defying federal immigration law list. So you can go into any state you want, and then you can find out what cities are defying the Trump administration and acting like a sanctuary city. So we can go to Tennessee in real time, and you'll see Nashville right here. But there's an issue. When it comes to the state of Tennessee, Tennessee has anti-sanctuary policies, and Nashville is not a sanctuary city. Now, if you don't know what's currently going on, essentially the Trump administration, they're not happy with the deportations. Initially, when all of this kicked off with the Trump administration and the deportations, we were looking at about 1,000 deportations a day. And then that slowly tapered off and dropped off, and Democrats pointed and laughed at the Trump administration. Here we are, over 100 plus days into the Trump administration. Tom Homan has announced we are looking into 3,000 deportations a day. That is a lot to hit that quota that the Trump administration is trying to hit, which I think is around 1 to 3-ish million. I know that sounds insane, but that's the number that was thrown out there. Now, when it comes to Freddie O'Connell, he, in my personal opinion, I do think is going to be used as an example. Everything is lining up perfectly. He has already been caught doxing Homeland Security members, and I can show you in real time. Let me pull this clip up for you. Check this out. Now, this has all been fixed and scrubbed, and the names have been erased, but the damage has already been done. Remember, the Trump administration is straight up saying, these are not only gang members, these are terror members. And what you see right here is an open database from the Nashville, Tennessee government website, where it lists all of the interactions in which Homeland Security and Metro PD were working together. However, Mr. O'Connell decided, let's list the names of the individuals who are working with ICE, who are finding these terror suspects, who are dealing with MS-13. Very, very dangerous situation. 400% violence rate against these agents. Now, the reason why I truly think Mr. O'Connell is going to be in some massive trouble again is the context of everything. We have this new hit list from DHS. We have DHS going on national television talking about Freddie O'Connell. We also have Freddie O'Connell dealing with another difficult situation, the Belonging Fund. This fund is being accused of using taxpayer money being funded into this and then being sent out to illegal immigrants to help them out as well. As you can see, this case is building and building and building for the mayor of Nashville, Tennessee, and the only way for the Trump administration to hit those quotas is if people like O'Connell either end up in jail, are arrested, or is going to be made an example by the Trump administration.
The fund does not collect information from beneficiaries, according to the foundation's website, which could limit the ability for any audit to prove it's breaking the law.
And to make things even worse for Freddie O'Connell, he has been promoting this fund in which you can't even properly audit. So the question is, what exactly is going on behind the scenes? This right here is really the perfect storm as far as a situation in which ICE, Homeland Security, and the Trump administration can make example of someone as far as not getting in your way. And I mean, let's be honest, the proof is in the pudding. The fact that Nashville, Tennessee, and Shelby County, they are on this list as far as sanctuary cities who are not sanctuary cities, defying the Trump administration, that right there is a very bad sign.
The assaults on ICE officers are high. The doxing of ICE officers are at an all-time high. And people always complain, some of you here say, why are they wearing masks? Or they're trying to protect themselves and their families. They've got a dangerous job to do. and they're being doxxed every day across this country. I've experienced myself 100 times, but I'm willing to take that because of the position I hold. And, we're not running a popularity contest. We're trying to enforce the laws enacted by Congress, doing it in a smart, effective way. So, yeah, the results are up, but it won't be tolerated. We've already shown you put a hands on an ICE officer, you can be prosecuted to the highest extents of the law.
Now, the irony behind all of this is that Freddie O'Connell really put himself in this situation. You see, Freddie O'Connell, if he ends up being arrested or charged, all fingers point to Freddie O'Connell. This is because, initially speaking, he's the one who put out an executive order, but what's rather interesting is that Freddie O'Connell, he's blaming the former mayor of Nashville, Tennessee, not him, as far as why all of this doxing is happening.
Now, the mayor's office says the page and Executive Order 30 is an extension of Mayor John Cooper's original executive order, but the interactions listed start in July of 2024, long after Cooper left office. Ogles continues to push for an investigation into O'Connell's actions, but the mayor has stood by his decision to publish all of this information, saying that transparency builds trust between local government and immigrant communities.
All right, my favorite, 1775 Coffee. They're giving away a free starter kit loaded with premium coffee gear, so you gotta jump on this. While coffee prices have jumped over 30% this year alone, 1775 is out here launching freebies like someone left the marketing team unsupervised. So pretty much you're going to get 3 bags of coffee, 2 16-ounce of your choice, dark or medium, plus their longevity blend infused with anti-aging CAAKG, clinically proven to reduce biological age. That pretty much means the fountain of youth comes in 16-ounce and doesn't taste like kale. And you cover 2 bags, 1775 covers the rest. That's a full 16-ounce bag of coffee plus premium gear, a matte black tumbler, frother, gold spoon, or reusable K-cup filter. So you get whole bean, ground, or pods. It's your call, which is why we love 1775 Coffee. You pretty much can pick and choose, and they cater to you. So go to 1775coffee.com/T-SPLY like you see on the screen. Grab your free starter kit before someone realizes this was a terrible business decision. Now, there's a few things to keep in mind when it comes to this executive order. He has the total authority to put out that executive order. However, if that executive order is creating incompetence within the mayor's office and people are doxing ICE agents, that's where the oversight committee has a problem, which is why he's being investigated. I cannot stress enough how strict the policies are within Nashville itself and the state of Tennessee. You cannot prohibit or inhibit any ICE operations or any federal operations.
That most of these gangs, they're large criminal enterprises. They're a corporation, and they have very sophisticated surveillance capabilities that is quite frankly frightening. And so when you have the mayor of Nashville literally listing the names of agents and law enforcement on the internet, you're putting them and their families in harm's way, whether you intend to or not. And again, it's done. He's saying in the name of transparency, look, it's one thing to release data, you do it a week or 10 days later, however you want to do it, that kind of thing. But when you're naming names, when you're putting their names on the internet, when something goes bad, and it's only a matter of time before something like that might happen, there could be very well criminal and, of course, civil penalties that ensue.
Certainly looks like Mayor O'Connell was involved in some sort of obstruction or the harboring of criminal illegal aliens in the great city of Nashville. But also just last night, his office put out the names of Homeland Security investigators and doxed our ICE enforcement officers. They claimed it was a mistake. There's zero chance it was a mistake, and there will be repercussions. Our ICE enforcement officers are already facing a 400% increase in assaults against them, and he's essentially handing over intelligence to these criminal gangs so that they can target our ICE enforcement officers. It's wrong, and it's beneath the city of Nashville, and I hope he will face consequences. Wow.
So again, Homeland Security is rather firm on their accusations, and they seem rather confident that Freddie O'Connell has been doing some illegal activity. However, I found some key details that a lot of other big YouTubers or people investigating into this. I want you guys to watch this clip and let me know what you see or hear, because I think a lot of people are missing this key detail in which the mayor's office can get in some big trouble.
also called for an audit into the belonging fund. So this was set up just days after ICE operations began. The fund was spearheaded by the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee.
It explicitly says that there is no government funding associated with the fund, and so no taxpayer money is a part of that. The belonging fund is critical because, one, I can assure you that it's helping individuals maybe hopefully delay an eviction. They can pay their rent on time. They can pay for food. I mean, these are basic needs.
Now, despite the fact the belonging fund is on a government website which is taxpayer funded, and I've talked about this before, I think a lot of people are missing this, that woman on screen was saying we are helping out immigrants. We are helping out to possibly delay evictions. However, if she is claiming they are helping people and you cannot perform a proper audit as far as who is receiving these benefits, somebody either has to be lying or somebody must be hiding something. And this is why I truly think the backbone of this entire operation or investigation can lead to bringing in and harboring certain aliens. This is all a little too fishy as far as the red flags. Remember, the whole reason why this entire fund came out was because there was a big operation on May 4th where 100 plus, I think it's 196 arrests were done from ICE and Tennessee Highway Patrol. And then all of a sudden you have this fund to help out the immigration population and refugees. However, it's a little too fishy that when you look into the audit of it, you can't do the audit. So somebody has to be helped, but we don't know who they're helping, but they know who they're helping. I hope you can see how this is a little more intricate than your average obstruction case. However, I really do think it seems that this is a little too fishy behind the scenes. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong up front, but it has been announced that they are going to go into the behind the scenes of this, the oversight committee, and start to look into the communications of all of it. If we can't actually do a proper audit, maybe we can see the communications. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to illegal immigrants? Is taxpayer money going to them? We literally don't know at this point.
But once again, we've been trailing these ICE vehicles that are in mostly silver type-esque, like Nissans and Hondas, and then they flicker on their lights, but they're unmarked silver cars, FYI.
Are you guys helping ICE out tonight? Okay, alright. No, we're good. Yeah, okay. Well, it could get you in trouble, so be careful.
Now, the most disgusting part about this entire investigation, we are seeing in that video that you just saw an elected official not only dox ICE agents, but also publicizing that on her own broadcast or live stream through Instagram, but then questioning local police. This is another key part of this investigation. Has Freddie O'Connell really opened up the door to try and blame Department of Homeland Security for causing disruptions in the area? That is the question. And here's the thing, again, going back to the beginning of the video, if the Trump administration wants 3,000 plus deportations, and we know Nashville, Tennessee is a hot spot for illegal activity, just based off of the location of the country, you have 4 major highways, it's a capital, it's a diverse community, you have a lot of immigrants and refugees. This is why the Trump administration, again, in my personal opinion, will most likely prosecute Freddie O'Connell, to use him as an example. You also have elected officials yelling at their own police force. You have Freddie O'Connell creating this environment of pretty much chaos. We know that there's doxing. We know that there's a weird fund out there, and the timing of it is also a little suspect if you ask me. But again, the whole point of this video, I'm just trying to point out, do not be surprised if Freddie O'Connell is going to be used as the example. Like we saw with Judge Hannah Dugan out of Wisconsin, I truly think Freddie O'Connell will be used as the example as far as either being arrested or charged or being put to shame as never messing with the Trump administration. Do not act like a sanctuary city if you're not one, especially if you have laws prohibiting sanctuary cities. Do not be surprised if this guy ends up getting arrested.
You've cracked down on sanctuary cities. The DOJ has put a pause on all federal funding to sanctuary cities and states. You filed a lawsuit against Chicago and the state of Illinois for being a sanctuary city. Am I wrong in my interpretation that a sanctuary city is aiding and abetting in lawbreaking?
Sean, what they're doing is they are choosing illegal aliens over the safety and security of their own citizens and the men and women of law enforcement who are out there trying to protect their citizens. Not only did we sue today the city of Chicago, we sued the state of Illinois, we sued the mayor, we sued the governor, and we sued others. And let me be very clear, if you don't comply with federal law, you're going to be next.
And if there's one person who's really firm about this situation and any sanctuary situation, it's Pam Bondi. So again, I do think the DOJ will be looking into a lot of this, especially the collateral damage that we are already seeing as far as the instability of ICE agents and their inability to get the job done if they're going to be doxxed. That is prohibiting or at least emotionally distressing ICE agents, which is a federal crime. Thank you guys for watching. God bless, and we'll see you all later.